How do you think this one's going to go?
Well, I think first of all we need to see Celtic score. They were. You know,
I mean, it helps.
It helps. I mean, they didn't score at all in the first match day. I think the way they were playing, it was possession orientated. They may have worked on it some more and made it a little bit more kind of intrusive on playing against other people's defences. From the Nantes point of view, they've got Kepa, who now comes in place of Zizou. Nantes were very good first match day. First game out the gate, it was 4-0. They were running the show. And then Boa Vista kind of showed up and put a spanner in the works and got a 2-1 victory. So it'll be interesting to see what Kepa adds to that mix. Him and Roxa are very well known as two very, very good Serbian players. AS Bibisk, again, just as good, and proved it in match day 1, was throwing out rainbow flicks just for the sheer hell of it.
Just for a laugh.
Just for a laugh. And but you know, I'd expect to see Celtic control the game, but I want them to be more intrusive with their possession. I don't want it to be, well, we've got 66% possession, that's what we're happy with. I want to see, well, we've got 66% possession, but we're winning 3-0. I don't want to see like a bit more of an attacking flow to their game rather than it just being, you know, kind of just possession based. They need to have more about them than just attacking. Than just possession.
Prediction: Celtic, FC Nantes.
Draw first game, second game Nantes.
Second game.
Second game Nantes. I'm going to say Nantes will take the second game.
And that would be a pretty bitter pill to swallow for Celtic to finish match day 2 with just the 1 point.
Yeah,
from 2 match days.
Yeah, but I think it's more the responsibility now of Celtic to really kind of put their money where their mouth is and really get on with their games, because they had the whole chemistry argument beforehand, but now that we're past the festive period. Okay, you've had time
all
now.
eyes on.
You've had time now. Let's
no
see what
excuses.
you've got.
Yeah. And one thing I remember from last season, a lot of the players on the tour mentioned how good FC Nantes were after the stat balancing in terms of being probably one of the best, if not the best team in the competition. Is that the same this season, do you think?
Yeah, I'd still say that they have very good players in key parts of the pitch. They have Toure at defensive midfield. We know the capability of Koulibaly. We know Yuan. They've got Moses Simon, who is lightning down the wing. They have the opportunity to really press on and probably get further than what they did last year. But you know, this Celtic side, they will control the ball, as we've seen it from the very early going. They're looking to just play it around at this point, but they need to put some purchase on it and really make it count. Yeah,
remember, if you are watching this and want to be a part of this competition, there is actually... I'm going to interrupt myself because Johnson's in here off the foot of the post, and just when you need a lightning start after a miserable match day 1, it's come back off the foot of the post, and it's a real let-off for FC Nantes. And now Koulibaly, could he make it a real sucker punch by scoring down the other end? Great challenge from Celtic, back in the danger area, another chance, can't clear, finally do. And well, that was a real blitz of an opening 5 minutes there, and really, Wes, Celtic should be in front.
Yeah, they should be. I mean, we called for them to be a bit more intrusive with their play, and it just goes to show they're now attacking in numbers and getting forward. But again, you have to be careful of that counter-attack. They were prolific in first match day with a counter-attack mentality. You've got to be careful. It's all well and good going attacking, but you need to keep the back door shut.
Indeed, and yeah, just to go back into what I was saying, if you do want to be a part of this competition, well, first of all, first step is eFootball Open, which is another tournament for players who aren't involved in the Pro League, and that is your best bet in order to make a name for yourself on the eFootball PES circuit. And remember, guys at home following, feel free to join the social media chat on all of our channels. Get involved, let us know what you think about today's proceedings, who your favourites are for the tournament as a whole, and who you're rooting for in terms of players for the big prizes: top goal scorer, top assist maker, top defence as well. I sounded like it was NFL then, defence. But yeah, there's some great prizes on show for all of these players, and we will have an MVP and a best goal on of today's match, and we will announce that on match day 3. So big prizes in the pot for those as the ball gets played in towards the danger area. Another chance here for Celtic. What a challenge that was. sliding in there at the death, and Celtic really putting the pressure on here, the squeeze.
Yeah, it's much better than it was in match day 1. They're pressing. They're like I said, they are making attacking chances. This wasn't the Celtic that we saw match day 1. You know, they had a couple of chances here and there that were gilt edge. This seems far improved.
They're passing the ball much quicker, aren't they? There's a much higher tempo to proceedings, and they're looking to break the lines a lot earlier, aren't they?
Yeah. It's not giving your player time, or it's not giving your opponent time to recover and to get their players back in position. Instead, Celtic are taking the front foot here, which is kind of, I think, what a lot of people wanted to see.
In towards Bayo, chance to get that flick towards Johnson. Good challenge again. It's real, all hands on deck stuff here for FC Nantes as the ball gets played out. Thought it was a corner, just a goal kick, and a chance to breathe a sigh of relief, importantly. And we talked about momentum. Celtic haven't scored while they're on top, and they could be in trouble here as the ball gets played through towards Koulibaly. Good defending. They don't want to play around with it there. It was a real nervy moment, but they managed to clear their lines eventually. But back in the danger area, Koulibaly just starting to cause a few problems, Bez.
Yeah, he's starting to get himself into the game a little bit. The guys are getting him into positions where he can cause some damage. It's not necessarily him doing anything as
another chance.
Girotto, almost. But it's not necessarily him causing problems. It's him getting into positions and occupying space. So it's one more thing that Celtic have to worry about. It's, okay, if Koulibaly's not in the front, that's okay. We can kind of try and deal with it.
Almost taking their mind off the danger areas.
Yeah,
almost.
exactly. If you've got Simon and you've got Yuan that are providing cover or providing kind of assistance, they're players that you can kind of deal with. Koulibaly, however, is a totally different prospect.
So, of course, Celtic with Indojua and Indominator, obviously family. They have a long history of playing together. Yorker joins the crew this year for Celtic. What do you think he brings to the table?
I think he brings a bit of emotion to it. You know, we spoke about LG. Oh, Koulibaly is coming in. Oh, it's knocked out by Bitten, but he provides a bit of emotion and he provides a bit of quality. You know, to have a third player like Georgia in your team, it's a more of a positive than it is a negative.
And looking at FC Nantes, of course, we mentioned AS Babisca's been there before. They've added to the ranks this year. Again, as an outfit, what did you see from Matchday 1 that you thought was impressive and not so?
It was their counter-attacking ability that was their real kind of take-home trait that they had. You can see here, just to touch on Celtic, they keep working the ball to that right wing and then switching it across. The issue with that is that you're leaving yourself on for, you know, if and when players pick up that you're doing that as a trait, they'll work towards it and just cut the pass off. But just to go back to Nantes, I think negatively, they just switched off in that second game. It was their second. It was game 2 where they really switched off, and I think they need to eliminate the switching off as a trait in their game.
It's difficult because it's such a high-profile event, and concentration is so key. And if, for example, obviously these players have travelled. You know, some of them many miles, and it's not easy to just shake off. But most of them are pretty used to it by now. Yeah,
I mean, you know, there's many different PES tournaments around the world, and I'm sure that most of the players playing here today will have some form of vested interest in them. And you know, it comes with the territory. If you're going to be a pro player, you're going to need to kind of take it on the chin that you've got to travel and go and play places. But looking at the first half, it's been 1 or 2 chances, if that.
Yeah, stalemate at the end of the first half. Celtic 0, FC Nantes 0, and well, you challenge Celtic to get a goal, and we're now another 45 minutes down, and still no breakthrough. What do they have to do?
I mean, to be fair, they were unlucky to not score in the first half. I mean, they're making all the right moves here. They're playing well, but you see there, Koulibaly into Simon.
Another real chance here. Oh, it's a great challenge. Brilliant recovery challenge there from the Celtic centre-back as the ball is played down this right-hand side and given away again. One back. The offside flag is raised, or is it given as a foul, I think, down on the near touchline. Chance to breathe here for, well, I thought it got in the way of Celtic, but actually it's a really dangerous position for FC Nantes. Whipped in towards the near post, cleared away. And now the counter's on here. Can they move the ball quickly enough? That's the question. They've been told they've been dallying and dillying, if that's a phrase, on the ball for far too long. And it seems like the attack might just be fizzling out again. They're just not being able to get the ball forward quick enough.
Yeah, they've gone from first half being, being in control of being a bit more proactive with their attacking, and now it's kind of going down that route of, again, possession. Whether it's a case that they're looking to just try and tire out the defence and cause an error.
Lovely turn here in towards Johnson. First real chance, they've got it. And there's the first goal of the tournament for Celtic. It's 1-0 to the Scottish Giants. And it looked from the celebrations that it's Indominator who's got it. We will, of course, clarify that after the event. But that might be a key turning point in eFootball.Pro.
Well, as we said, they've been more intrusive, they've been more positive. And again, it was working around the box. Are they looking to tire out the defence? They certainly did. Forest, again, it looked like the ball was going to Bayo. Instead, it goes to Mikey Johnson. And Celtic find themselves 1 goal ahead.
Lovely, intricate football. And again, we touched on how they need to break this deadlock. And it was simply a case of raising the tempo. Firing the balls in, making sure that first touch is on point, and then go from there. And that's exactly what happened. It was 4 passes, very quick, 1-0.
It looked like it was Indajara with the goal. Obviously, Indominator just very, very happy that they've gone 1 goal ahead. And again, it's one less thing to tick off now. You know, if you made a list of tasks that you had for eFootball.Pro at the start of the year, one of them is get your first goal.
The next one's 3 points.
The next one's 3 points.
Can they get it?
And there's a lot of, there's a lot of energy that goes into this. Is it a case that emotion helps you in scenarios like this, or is it a hindrance? Do you react emotionally to going 1 goal ahead, or do you try and stay calm, stay positive?
Simon picks it up, chance for an instant response here from FC Nantes, whipped across the face, great defending there. That was a real chance for the French side, and I think it is going to be panic averted for Celtic unless there's a free kick in a dangerous position, which is exactly what has happened. And quite the reverse, because this could prove real dangerous as it whisks over the top of the crossbar. Just touching on Celtic, you mentioned how Indominator was so exuberant with the celebrations. The other two are fairly quiet characters. He's definitely the spokesperson from the team, the captain, if you will. Is it important in eFootball.Pro to have a player like that who takes the game by the scruff of the neck, who does the press conferences, who rallies the troops?
Yeah, I mean, it's important from a stance of you've got somebody there who is front of house, who knows that he's got to go and do it, he's got to go and, give interviews and give reactions and be the epicenter of everything that works well for these clubs. And it allows your 2 counterparts or your 2 co-op partners to just go and express themselves in the game. I'm looking at this here now, and the game is in Celtic's control. It's seemingly in their control. It's now a case of how do they keep hold of this lead. And
we also touched on the players who are obviously in certain formations between. Hang on, we're just going to interrupt because it's in towards Johan. Another chance blocked into Bamba. Saved by the goalkeeper, turned away. A real important save by the Celtic number 1. Still the danger on. Finally cleared away. 60 minutes gone, and that was a real chance, Wes. But just going back to the players and where they're sat, is it important where, in terms of being in the middle, on the outside, do players have preferences, and why?
I don't know. I don't know whether it's that much of a kind of a point of note. I think sometimes it's better if you've got your captain on the outside, because at least then, rather than being in a kind of a cauldron almost, you can look straight across. You can go straight across.
Yeah.
You at least can look down the line there and see what your players are.
Well, we saw that with Monaco. Uzma was on one side, and we would probably see him as the most emotional player. Even though Lopfi does it's another chance. It's a mistake here, and Forrest was nearly in. Fired away. 20 minutes remaining. 1-0 to the good Celtic. Are they on course for the first 3 points of eFootball.Pro, or can FC Nantes claim a equalizer at the death? It's in towards Kulabai. As a poor pass that was, wasn't it?
Should have gone to KMB first. If you look at it, when they watch this back, KMB had so much space to play in, and again, it would have presented a 2-on-1 opportunity, and it would have gave Celtic something really to think about.
fine margins, as we keep saying here in eFootball.Pro. Just that one mental slip has allowed Celtic to clear their lines, but they have a corner down on the near touchline to be taken by Bamba, whipped in towards the near post, deflected, cleared away. Is this a chance to counter? No, one back, and FC Nantes come again. Kayambe, it's a brilliant challenge from Bitton, and now the counter's on. He's got Forrest up and Johnson ahead of him. Can't quite keep possession though, and once again the suffocating press from Nantes is still alive. 15 minutes to grab an equaliser here. Wes, are they going to do it? That's the question.
I think it's going to be difficult for them to really hold on to this. I'm really looking at it from a stance that if Nantes put the pressure on at the right moments and get the ball back, I think Celtic are looking a little bit
leggy,
nervous. They're looking nervous.
They've got no 3 points on the board.
Yeah, they're looking nervous, and they're looking that they're going to have to, like we said, game management, close it down, and really trying to close down the game. That's not a knock at them, but they need this monkey off their back. They really do. They need these 3 points just to get on the board and say, we've got 3 points as Bamba cuts it out.
In towards Kayambe, now out towards Bamba. 8 minutes is all that sits between Celtic and their first 3 points of the eFootball.Pro Season 2. But FC Nantes still on the counter-attack, and it's in, blocked away. And the French side are pushing and pushing and pushing. And if the game goes on much longer, surely at this rate, we're going to see an equalising goal. Chance to whip it into the danger area. Koulibaly's up, big header across. Forrest heads it away, and it is a case of all hands on deck for Celtic. Can they withstand this ridiculous amount of pressure, Wes?
It's a barrage. It's a barrage from Nantes. They've put the pressure on right at the right moment. They've only got 4 in-game minutes left plus stoppage. They have weaponry in the box. It's just whether they can find him.
Flicked on into Osore. The onslaught continues, but they can't get just one touch to direct it towards goal. They're not able to do it, and Bamba still has the possession. Celtic just can't get out at the moment. It's a siege in towards Koulibaly. Can't get any purchase on the header, and somehow Celtic survive again. This will be a huge 3 points for Celtic, but they can't get out. Nantes are camped inside the penalty area. Koulibaly saved by the goalkeeper, and somehow, it is still Celtic 1, FC Nantes 0, and we are deep into added on time, and surely now they have the 3 points in the bag. There will be one more chance, last chance saloon for the French side, headed away. This has been an incredible defensive performance in the last 10 minutes, but still they come forwards. It's in towards the danger area. It's Koulibaly, he puts it in. We've got an equalising goal. Heartbreak for Celtic, absolute heartbreak for Celtic. But what a moment of euphoria for FC Nantes right at the death. They've got an equalising goal, Wes, and I am exhausted in our final game.
I will take over from you from here for a moment or two. It was a barrage, like we said. Fraser Forster comes up with what looked like a game-saving throwing himself across the goal and was a quality save. But it was resilience. It was working the ball back in. We saw it last match day with Barcelona. They worked the ball back into the box. These guys knew from here they got a real bit of fortune from a very tired touch, and again, even more fortune hitting off the post and going in. It, on any given day that hits the post and goes wide. It was I can't say much more.
Apologies to all of you at home who I may have broken eardrums for. It is just the magical excitement of eFootball.Pro, and we mentioned how difficult that's going to be for Celtic. They've had 3 points once again snatched from right under their noses. It's finished 1-1, and you'd have to say on the basis of play, we said the longer this game goes on, they are going to get one final chance. It came ridiculously late in the 4th minute of stoppage time, but you'd have to say deserved at the end, Wes.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure they put on that back line, and like we mentioned, Celtic looked under pressure, and they looked like they were feeling that pressure. And it was defensive frailties that really, really brought home the fact that Nantes just get there with the slightest bit of luck from a very tired touch. They just take the draw.
I mean, this now, approaching this second game, I'd like to say I'm glad as much as enjoyment I've had today, I'm almost glad this is the last game, because after that goal, I'm absolutely exhausted. But more importantly, these guys out there, mentally, this has got to be so difficult now for Celtic to get up for to G themselves back up for this game, because that was 3 points were there, weren't they? And
yeah,
it's been snatched away, and now they've got the prospect of ending today with 1 point over 2 match days, because FC Nantes, tails are up. We could easily see them go and win this game.
Yeah, easily, and that's the thing. It's that mental work that you've got to put in there. Like we spoke, you know, today we've spoken so much about what's going on in the game and what's happening with the players. We've completely forgot the intangible qualities. You know, the resiliency, the mental fortitude, the kind of the grit and the determination to get yourself back into the game. Nantes could have easily turned around there and gone, okay, well, the game's gone. The game's gone. We'll leave it at 1-0. Instead, they pumped the ball back into the box. They knew what they needed to do, and Koulibaly was a constant threat.
Yeah, I mean, we kept harping on. That was my next point. We kept harping on about how unlucky Celtic were, or how heartbreaking that was. But equally, how impressive was that from FC Nantes to keep plugging away, keep going, knowing, or at least hoping, you're going to get that one last chance, and when it comes, to have the composure to take it, which they did.
Well, looking at it, I mean, they thought that chance had been and gone with the force to save. They thought that had been and gone, and to have that kind of mentality and that focus to be able to go, we need to get this ball back in. We'll know how we'll do it. Granted, they got a bit of fortune with the bad touch from the defender, but again, that goes back to fatigue, and it goes to bad touches, and bad touches in that type of game, and especially at that moment in the game, they are invaluable to take advantage of, and they're costly if they're on your if it's your bad touch, it's costly.
They are. Now this game, the second of Celtic versus FC Nantes. The first game finished 1-1, a 94th minute equaliser for the French side. Now we're into the final game of Matchday 2, and you know what? If Celtic go and win this game, hats off, quite possibly the best mental performance I've seen to be able to get yourselves up for this and go again and go and win. But it's a tall order, because FC Nantes tails are up. They haven't got 3 points yet. It's in towards Koulibaly. The French side have started on the front foot. It could be some difficult game for them.
Yeah, and I'd be right up there. The mental tasks that Celtic have got on them right now, it is a very tall order, because, like you said, if you are Nantes, you're coming out of that game going, well, there's a point that we shouldn't have had, and now we've got a fresh set of legs, we've got a fresh set of players, and we've got a fresh set of circumstances, so now we can go in and play the way that we want to.
Yeah, of course, you can see the winners of MVP and best goal in Matchday 2, as we've got another one here, and FC Nantes have started the second game like they ended the first. It's a brilliant start for them, and Celtic are on the rot right now. They just can't turn this around.
Yeah, we spoke again. We keep speaking about set pieces, and if you're watching at home and you're wondering, oh, how is that ball fizzing in that hard? It's quite simple. You can select a man at the corner, but before you do so, you power up the cross, and it goes in like a bullet. I mean, the goalkeeper comes out and punches it. Forster, who was great in the first game, real bad error, and Koulibaly, he's not missing from there with an open goal.
Yeah, unfortunate turn of events for Celtic. It was a poor save from the goalkeeper. Of what I was saying before that goal went in was, we will see Matchday 2 MVP and best goal will be announced in Matchday 3. Of course, Konami will be the deciding factor in who wins goal of the day. But for me, even though we've seen some incredible goals, and the goal in the last game was a bit scrappy in terms of the season as a whole and how important that goal was, for me, that has to take it.
Well, there's
obviously different people will have different opinions.
Yeah, of course. And if you're looking at the goals as a matter of importance, that goal obviously was vital. If you look at Bayern Munich's goal for creativity, the three goals,
which I think will probably, in my opinion,
there's loads of different ways you can look at this, which is why I'm so glad it's not my job anymore to give MVPs and goals of the day.
Indeed. 10 minutes gone. FC Nantes 1, Celtic 0. Lovely turn there from Johnson. Just can't quite pull the trigger. It's just a bit hit and miss right now. It's just that final moment in the attack that's breaking down for the Scottish outfitters. The ball is hacked upfield, and now they've got to be so careful, because you said before the game FC Nantes' biggest strength is the counter-attack, and they are looking pretty dangerous indeed at the moment. That's a stunning challenge, and the pressure is back on again in towards Kayembe, only as far as Johan. Now it's in towards Koulibaly. Is the offside flag going to be raised? No, the offside flag stayed down, and that is a hugely important stop from the Celtic number 1.
Now I'll try and put my own self into what the non-player was thinking there. He's thinking, well, I'll just hit the shoot button because I'm offside.
It's offside, yeah.
And had they have had the composure to take that touch instead of having Koulibaly slip over, that's 2-0.
We mentioned how important that goal was at the end of the first game, but that miss there could equally be so important if Celtic were able to get an equalising goal and then go on to possibly turn this game around. Still, the search goes on so far for Celtic to get off the mark. No, off the mark with 3 points as the ball gets played in towards, and the goalkeeper hacks it away. 20 minutes here, Celtic 0, FC Nantes 1. What do Nantes need to do now in terms of game management? Do they need to get a second goal?
I would say get a second just to make yourself comfortable, because as we've seen all of the day today and previous match day, anything is possible in eFootball PES.
Well, they look like getting the second goal right now, because Johan's in and they've got the second goal, and that might be a crucial goal in eFootball.Pro, because the pressure was starting to build again, and every time FC Nantes have had questions asked of them, they've responded today.
Yeah, and like we said, it's the pressure that's building. It's not just the pressure of the game, it's the pressure of the league standing now that is now kind of bearing down on Celtic. You're potentially going to come away with 1 point. You're potentially going to be at the foot of the table. It doesn't bode well. These are, you know, as Harry mentioned in Matchday 1, you can't get these points back. These games are final. There's no, oh, we get a do-over. It's these games are final.
Yeah, because we know that things can change. We know that swings can happen. We've seen it from Bayern Munich winning 6 points and finishing today with 7 after only getting 1 from Matchday 1. But the longer the season goes on and the more match days we've had, the more difficult it is to make that swing. And after 2 match days, having only 1 point could be crucial.
Yeah, I mean, it could be it's going to be absolutely massive. You know, it's. I feel bad for looking at Celtic, because you look at it and you just think, well, there are qualities there, but you know, they look so positive in the first game. They look so positive, and they look directer than they were before. But they've pushed.
Oh, he's in again here. It's the offside flag stays down, which it does. It's Koulibaly to kill the game inside the opening half an hour. He's put it wide. He had far too much time, and he's blown the chance to win the game, surely.
Well, that comes with there's 2 issues there. There's one manual goalkeeping, 2, well, actually there's 3 then. There's manual goalkeeping, there's forcing Koulibaly to make a decision. But look how high Celtic's line are. They've made an adjustment to try and put some more pressure on FC Nantes. But it's going to cause those types of issues where if you push forward a defensive line, you're giving opponents the opportunity to play that high up. And as we see there, Bayo to Johnson, looking back for Bayo again. But if you're putting a defensive line up that far, you've got to be sure that back line is covered. And at the moment, I don't really think it is.
No, we talked about best goal of the day, potentially. That might go down as the biggest miss of the day, because I'm pretty shell-shocked that we've not seen a third goal there, to be honest. It was a dead cert, wasn't it? He went through. It's Koulibaly. You just think he's just going to bag it, and he's put it wide of the target. As Bitter now finds Johnson. It might just be the galvanising factor that Celtic need to drag themselves back into the game.
You see they're not rushing. They're rushing their play going forward.
In towards Bayo. Chance here. Great defending again from FC Nantes, and it's another chance that comes and goes. Pass is completed. Celtic in the ascendancy. Possession. Celtic in the ascendancy. But the most important statistic right at the top left-hand side of the screen is Celtic 0, FC Nantes 2.
Yeah, it's exactly this. It's almost a carbon copy of Matchday 1, where, you know, possession and pass accuracy were key for Celtic, but it didn't result in a positive victory. It didn't result in a goal even on match day one.
Like you said, I'm a little bit concerned now for Celtic going the other way, because every time FC Nantes turn the ball over, like now, they're flying forwards in 3s and 4s, and if that pass is a little bit better, that's actually a missed. That's a poor touch that almost allowed them in. But if that pass was better, we've got another 2-on-1 again.
Yeah, and that's the gamble that you're playing into when you decide that that's the tactic you're going to go with. Going with a high line.
What else could they do? Because they need to chase the game. Well, is there another option?
Well, potentially, rather than pushing your attacking line forward, you could instead you can trigger an advanced instruction which is called attacking fullbacks. It allows your fullbacks to push on, although it provides a similar issue.
I thought that was going in. I'm not going to lie. It flew towards that top left-hand side. In actual fact, it was quite a long way wide of the target, but they just look a threat from all different positions, Wes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and they're looking constantly a threat. I mean, as I was just about to point out there, you could go with attacking fullbacks. You could play gegenpress, which basically makes your players press the ball at kind of all opportunities. But again, if you know how to play out of the press, it doesn't really matter what tactics you're employing. So Celtic could go and press this ball all day long. If Nantes find the ball out, it doesn't matter. That you could have 2 or 3 players out of position, and you're in even worse of a spot than you are in there.
End of the first half of the second game between Celtic and FC Nantes, and the final game of Matchday 2 here in eFootball.Pro. It's been a day of pretty blistering action, and are we destined to see a remaining 45 minutes which matches or supersedes that? Let's wait and see, Wes.
Yeah, well, we'll see as Johnson goes trying to go in for it. And Toure again, as we pinpointed at the start of the match, Toure is ever present in that midfield.
Koulibaly picks the ball up. The offside flag is raised. You heard the groan from one of the FC Nantes players because, you know, that was a bit sloppy. Possession still with Celtic. Passes completed still with Celtic. Scoreline still with FC Nantes. And we've seen that you know, over the eFootball.Pro season last year and this year, that you know, possession isn't 9/10 of the law.
Yeah, no, and possession isn't always the key stat. I mean, as you quite rightly pointed out, it's only what's in the top left-hand corner of your screens is the most important stat. And as the other most important stat is the fact that timer just keeps ticking down, and the longer this game goes on, there's less and less opportunities for Celtic to actually get back into this game. So they're running out of time, and you can see that they're trying to play with a bit more urgency. They're trying to put more pressure on the ball. But ultimately, as they get a lucky break here, here's Forrest, goes around the back, and Basila will get the clearance away, and Cham gets it back. It's back to Cham. Oh, it's a lovely finish from Cham. Makes it 2-1, and all of a sudden, the complexion of this game turns on its head.
Game well and truly on. Just when we were writing off Celtic for today, they are back with a bang. It is Celtic 1, FC Nantes 2, and Wes, is this a slight turn in momentum?
Well, it could easily change. It could easily change the game here. It's a great finish from Cham. It kind of got a little bit of topspin on it, makes it look even better. But I think there's another turn in this game. Whether it's for Nantes or whether it's for Celtic, we'll find out shortly. But it feels like there's a slight change in momentum here as Toure goes through.
Oh, it's a late challenge there, and now Johan has the chance to make it 3-1. This would probably kill the game off. Skips inside, deflected under the goalkeeper. It's a really poor goal to concede from a Celtic point of view, but FC Nantes conceded a goal. It didn't faze them. They went back on the front foot. It's 3-1.
It's that man again. It's Koulibaly that is the focal point once again. Again, little shimmy. He gets fortune by going under Fraser Forster. I think it comes off of the palm of Fraser Forster, but still goes in. But again, he's just physical. Julian can't deal with him, and it just clips off of the hand and then clips off a defender and goes in. But it's those bits of fortune you need when you're at this level.
Indeed it is. So, time running out for Celtic, and they've got a 2-goal swing that's needed, and that is a tough ask. What do they do now?
Well, they're going to have to like I said, or as we said earlier, the games are a final. Once these games are gone, they don't come back. So if you're Celtic, you might need to go a bit more expansive. You might need to switch to wingers as opposed to midfielders. When you're playing with 4-5-1 as opposed to a 4-3-3, your players are a bit more conservative in their approach. You might need to go a bit more aggressive.
Indeed they might. So, half an hour is all that stands in the way of 3 invaluable points for FC Nantes, taking them to 4 points for the day. They're in again here. It's Bamba. He shrugs off the challenge like a 30-year-old playing against a 4-year-old, just pushed him aside and slapped it into the back of the net, off the pass, and they've got to take a long, hard look in the mirror, haven't they, Celtic, Wes?
Yeah, they honestly, they're employing attacking fullbacks. They're trying to push the issue to Nantes, but ultimately Nantes are just too good at finding the gaps. It's like we said. You can put as much pressure on as you want, but if you can find your way out of the pressure, you will find yourself in positions like Nantes have. They've found some space down the wing. Julian's been pulled out as a centre-back.
This is the moment here. This is the moment. Look how I'm
just hold him. And that's what we talk about the shielding. We talk about the shielding is that it would either force you to give away a penalty or it'll force you to...
Look at that strength there.
It's great strength.
Pushes away the captain.
Yeah.
Little outside of the right boot pass and then turns it home. And this result, which... let's be honest, unless we see one of the biggest changes in form across the next 5 minutes, then we are going to see a table with Monaco sitting pretty at the top with 10 points. But then there's a glut of teams with 7. Juventus, FC Nantes, who are playing now, Manchester United, SC Bayern München, all on 7 points. And then obviously we'll go through the rest at the end of the show. But this is a huge, huge day potentially for FC Nantes. It's in again here.
Going to play an inside ball there. He had an inside ball on.
Are you seeing this? In this game? Are you seeing a brilliant performance from FC Nantes, or are you seeing a bit of a disappointing one from Celtic, or a bit of both?
I think it's a bit of both. I think Nantes have just been kind of uncontrollable on the counter-attack. I think the tactics from Celtic have probably not lent themselves to getting back into the game. I think sometimes you can push too much, and I think that's where we're kind of at the moment. I think looking at Nantes, they've just came at this game and really put it to bed.
Bitton spins away. Now plays it forward towards Christie. Christie back towards Johnston, in towards the danger area. Good challenge away, and it's just not happening today for Celtic. And one of the best players in the world of PES over the last few years has been in Dominator, and collectively he has played with Endojua for one a lot, but they are struggling in eFootball.Pro Season 2. It's in towards Bamba, another chance for 5. Koulibaly hit the post, back down, and that really should have been the icing on the cake. It's a poor finish in the end, but hats off to the approach play, Wes.
Yeah, I mean, it's 4-on-3 at all times.
The goal was gaping to a goalkeeper's right.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the chance. Yes, that's a bad one.
In isolation.
In isolation, that's bad to miss. But when you look at the approach play, it's 4v3 at all times from Nantes against Celtic. Celtic have only got 3 defenders back, and it's causing problems because Nantes are able to just attack at will, and they don't need to score.
And the trouble is, if I'm looking at this from a Celtic point of view, it's not like they've been done twice the same. So in the first game, they took, because in this game you could say they went behind, and then you're always chasing the game. You're being hit on the counter-attack by a very strong counter-attacking outfit. But the first game they went 1-0 up, and they still didn't get the 3 points. So there's questions being asked kind of right across the board here.
Yeah, I think there's questions in regards to formation. There's questioning of ethos as well. Really, you know, we've seen it a lot from Celtic over the first 2 match days in terms of they're a possession-based outfit. That they're not of the attacking variety. I mean, I think the 2 golden chances that were in match day 1 came from their left back as being the guy that was the guy that got on the end of them. You know, we're not seeing a lot of Edouard, we're not seeing a lot of Bayo, and ultimately we're seeing a lot more of Nantes pressing Celtic rather than Celtic pressing Nantes.
4-1 to FC Nantes. 10 minutes remaining here in the final match of eFootball.Pro Match Day 2. We've seen some incredible performances, both individually and as a team. We've also seen some disappointing or underwhelming performances as well, and you'd have to say Celtic have to rank in that as the ball gets played forwards. We've seen some monumental goals in terms of how much importance they will sort of have in the season as we go forwards, and results as well. 3 points so crucial as Edouard plays it in. Christie, is there another chance here for Celtic? And that is a huge... Is that a big miss or is that a great save?
That's a great save. I mean, you see it here. You'll see it's Roxa with the save. He moves across. He spots that it's going left, and he just grabs hold of the keeper and says, nope, that's not happening today. And it's a great save from Roxa.
Yep. Sometimes those sort of moments go unnoticed because it's quite hard to see with the action going on at such a high pace, but well spotted from Wes, the old manual goalkeeper trick coming in again. But I mean, so often it gets slated, manual goalkeeping. Anytime there's a goal that comes of it due to a poor moment of judgment, but that's where it does work well,
yeah,
doesn't it?
Yeah, when it works very well. When it doesn't work, it's very obvious. I mean, the one thing that strikes me here is that with 6 minutes to go, now we see a formation change from Celtic. Could that have come earlier?
When it's 4-1.
When it's 4-1, the game's gone. So ultimately, could you have seen a better...
Is that a stubbornness from the guys, or just not thinking, not forward thinking enough?
Well, I think it's... I don't know whether it's stubbornness. They certainly believe in the philosophy of possession football, but, you know, if you look at the results, it's
Numbers
definitely
over
not...
again. Bamber on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
All three Celtic players have come across. The space is there. The pass didn't come in.
Don't need to.
Either way, happy just to see a few seconds out because they don't need 5. I mean, goal difference might come into play, but certainly 4-1 is a resounding victory and will help on that front. But Toure picks it up again on the halfway line. Another sloppy pass from Celtic now. Poor touches, left, right and centre coming in as tired legs come into play into the final couple of minutes. Edouard challenged brilliantly there from FC Nantes centre-back, now back with Scott Sinclair. Wagyu comes across again to make another challenge, doesn't get it this time. Toure mops up deep into added on time, and this will go down as an incredibly impressive performance from FC Nantes, and they could finish with a flurry here. It's 2-on-2, it's not to be, but importantly it's finished here at the end of the second game of the final game here of the eFootball.Pro Matchday 2, and it's finished Celtic FC 1, FC Nantes 4. Wes, brilliant performance from the French outfit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you look at the resiliency they showed in the first game, and then it was just the all-out quality in the second. And again, I think there's questions to be asked of Celtic. I think they've got to